Okay, it's Saturday, which means another episode of The Empathetic Disruptor. I guess it doesn't matter that it's Saturday, but that's the day it is, and so I'm going to record a post today because I just got done reporting two vehicles today that were parked in handicap spaces, in parking spaces meant for people with disabilities. And this is probably the fifth time that I've done that this week. And I have multiple ways that I feel about doing that. And that's what I'm going to talk about basically today for, let's say, the next 15 minutes. Um, Reporting how I feel about reporting people for parking illegally in disability parking spaces. So, a bit of prologue for anybody that decides to watch this. Obviously, I have a disability now, and so I care about these things more than other people do, which makes sense. But something that was happening was that when I first started noticing that, it seems like 90% of the people parking in the disability parking spaces don't need to do it at the very least. And at the worst, I think are doing it illegally. You know, Either they're using handicap parking stickers that are no longer valid, and so they're just kind of getting away with it, or they're using somebody else's, like a grandparent's. I know this because it tends to be like young people, a lot of young people, you'd be surprised. Um, or people just don't care and they don't even have a pass, they just park there. And when I first started noticing it, it just really bothered me. Um, for some obvious reasons, I guess. Also, I'm an easily bothered person. Fine. But it would just annoy me because I go to places like maybe it's Dawn Park or here or there, and all the handicapped parking spaces are taken up. And I think I said this on a previous video. It's not that I need it or I'm going to die. I can park somewhere else. I can park farther away and I'm going to be fine. It's okay. But it just irks me. And that irkedness led to some confrontations, in person confrontations, where maybe I saw some young person I have getting out of their car and just went up and would say something like, do you have well, what's your disability? Not do you, but what is your disability? Maybe they have something and I can't see it. It's possible. But most of the time, and if you watched my other video of me talking about this, you heard me say it, almost every single time, this did not lead to any outcome that really does anything for me or how I feel about it. It almost always would escalate into a situation where either somebody's yelling at me, um, telling me to get out of the country, to go back to my home, to get out of here, disability person, uh, to, or confronting me about not being Taiwanese, saying something like, well, you're not even Taiwanese, almost like, how dare you confront me? You're not even a Taiwanese. You don't have any right. Which I noticed would just like further infuriate me and like escalate it even more. So in the end, that kind of confrontation really did nothing for me. But what I struggled to kind of deal with on a personal level was that, like, I mean, it's true that what's going on isn't cool, basically. Like, if you don't have a disability and you don't need to park in a handicapped space, you shouldn't park there. I mean, that should be obvious. And anybody who's doing that is either completely ignorant or an asshole, kind of, on some level, to take advantage of that. So that is not cool. And yet I feel sort of like powerless to do anything about it. Um, like what can I actually do? I mean, going up to somebody and confronting somebody is just, I realize, is never going to work out in my favor. Whatever fantasy I have about somebody being like, oh my God, sorry, oh, 不好意思, I did something that I shouldn't have done. I apologize. I'll think about it next time. Never going to happen, because the kind of people that would feel bad about it aren't the people that are parking in a handicapped place in the first place. So, and also that kind of confrontation doesn't do anything for me. It just kind of ruins my day, and I get all upset about it, and it's hard to get rid of that energy. And maybe I talk about it with other people and they're annoyed and they're like, whatever, it's not, I tell people about it, they don't care, it's not their experience. They also can't understand why I'm worked up about it. So just overall, it's like, oh my God, what a weird situation. And I feel like I it seemed like I only maybe had two options with that. One was just forget about it. Like, whatever. Don't do anything. You see people, ignore it, park somewhere else, get over it. And that's an okay option, actually. I mean, I have done this a lot, and it does work. At the very least, I like saying that, right? At the very least. At the very least, I feel better in some ways because I don't get into a confrontation. I don't have somebody telling me, you know, that I'm a stupid white person and get out of the country, and then I'm like so angry. I avoid a lot of problems by just not doing anything. And yet there's another part of me that feels like, yeah, but, I mean, yeah, but who's going to do something about it then? Because nobody else actually cares. If if you're somebody who doesn't have a disability, you don't ever park there, you don't care about parking there, you just don't care. It's not a problem for you. You're not going to like report people. You're not going to like go to the city and demand whatever about it because it's not your problem. I'm not doing that about other things that don't impact me. So then I feel like, well, yeah, but well, if I don't do something, then who's going to do something about it? It doesn't feel like the police really care about it. They're sort of like, meh. You know what I mean? Like they also just don't, it doesn't bother them. It doesn't inconvenience them. So my point is, I feel like on some level, I've struggled with the feeling that what can I do? Both for the actual problem, but also for myself, you know, because, there is something that wants to be done. I don't want to ignore it. I do feel like completely ignoring it isn't actually healthy for me emotionally because then there's no outlet for that. And it's just like repressed emotions or, like I'm liable just to save it up and then, unleash my annoyance and anger the next time I have dinner with somebody who's like, whoa, dude, what? Yeah, because I've been holding it in. So that's not really the best way, I think. Which brings me to the whole point of all that, which is that I was told that, in Taipei, in New Taipei also, there are online reporting pages for anything, basically, that you could report to the police, which includes traffic violations and illegal parking in disability spaces. There's just a form, you take a picture, and you report it to the police, and they do something about it. And so I've been playing with that. I have had the feeling, like the very first time I was like, oh my God, I'm just gonna like report this guy, and finally I can do something. And then I'm filling out the form, and I do have a moment where I'm kind of just like whatever, like why am I doing this? Like I'm like, it's not actually that simple. You got to fill out a whole form and I got to like show them pictures of my documents, and it's like pretty Moffon, um, and time consuming. And then I start feeling like, wow, like, why do I care? Like, really, what? Um, but that's there. But I do feel like it is also a good outlet for me to feel like I'm doing something. Um, there might be a repercussion for the person who's doing this illegally, and that is probably a good thing. And it kind of gets it off my chest, and I feel like I have power. It's a little bit empowering for me, even if filling out a form is Moffon and it seems kind of like I'm taking it too seriously. It is serious and it does affect me and it does bother me and it does allow me to do something. And so I appreciate that. I'm grateful that that is available for me, and I'm going to take advantage of it for myself, for my own emotions. And yeah, so that's what I wanted to capture here for the most part, that that's something I'm doing and it feels good. And the other thing that's important is by doing that, I take away this this other sometimes need, I think I need to like to confront a person. I know I can be very confrontational. I'm not afraid of confrontation necessarily. Uh, but having this other outlet does allow me to kind of mentally be like, okay, even if I see, some teenager getting out of the car, like a whole group of teenagers, like I saw at IKEA a couple weeks ago, I know I can just let that go, which is the best thing to do. I don't need to say anything to anybody. I don't need to create a confrontation and then ruin my day. And who knows, like at some point, maybe somebody would like attack me or something, but I can bypass that, but still feel like I get to do something. And I realize it doesn't even matter to me if the person I report gets a ticket or not. It just is the feeling of like being able to take an action and know that I was allowed to do something, know that I had an avenue to feel self-empowered in this situation is really nice. And yeah, it's just been a good learning experience for me to see like that is the best approach for me, maybe in other areas of my life where I feel frustrations. And I think that, the way I need to address it, or the thing I need to do is this. Whereas there might be other options and there could be something to bypass. And you know what? The online reporting thing is also I feel like very Taiwanese in a way. I mean, that's sort of like following the cultural etiquette of, not really confronting people and sort of like just, doing the legal route. So I think I'm doing the right thing here with this, and we'll see how it goes. Happy Saturday.